Pecha Kucha 14, add a layer and Family Guy. So I've changed the format size of this video. It should be 16:9, so it should, in theory, fit the borders of the video frame better. We'll see. Fingers crossed, but you know, this is me trying to make things incrementally better as time goes on. So what have I looked at this week? Mike Hill talks about mind mapping. You use logic to kind of deduce what you should do as you're creating things so that it all makes sense. He talks about an aircraft carrier. Where does the stuff go? What do you need? What's its relationship to each other? I tried this with my Spider-Man for All Seasons thing, but because I've got no discernible function to wrap everything around, it's all kind of a mess. How do you tell a quintessential Spider-Man story when you're not sure what those elements are? It's worth doing, but I still need a lot more kind of thinking in every direction to figure it all out. So something I thought I should maybe start doing is drawing some thumbnails of the little snippets of the Spider-Man story I have. So Parker going to meet Professor Xavier, trying to solve some kind of mystery that is at the heart of this thing. Maybe he's seeing Gwen Stacy. I don't know. You know, he wants the professor to take him to the astral plane or something like this. It's there's I know there's something really good here, but it's a lot like when that guy was talking about Craven the Last Hunt. It's something that needs to really gestate. So, looking at Mike Hill, I have his PSD, and I was thinking, what would happen if I sent my PSD around to other people and then they added layers to it? So I started with the simple idea: here's Batman, no background. I send this to someone I know, and then they have to add a layer. So let's say they've just played Final Fantasy 15 and they want to pretend Batman's in it. So they've just I did this, of course, because I've just come up with this. I gave Batman a health bar. He's not even a little bit OP, of course, because he's Batman. And I just like this idea of you can resize the layer I send and then put something else in. So this is like not a character; it's a background. You and Kate Bro. It's like this is just supposed to be fun and just it shouldn't feel like, oh no, here's another thing I have to do. It's on my list. So now I took that layer and then I shrunk it, and now it's a really terrible movie poster because apparently Photoshop CC doesn't have any poster fonts. I don't know what's up with that because CS6 did. Maybe it's my Mac, but yeah, so now I've added Smiley and Vegeta looking at this like, do that. But that wasn't really what I was going for. So the idea was supposed to be you got a simple character, then someone adds something like in Banner Saga in the foreground, and then someone else can add something in the background. And then because you've got the PSD, you don't have to add things after the fact. You can actually move the layers and have access to everything. So here's background, just drop Batman in the woods. You think it wouldn't work, but when you got an overcast sky like that, Batman seems right at home. Again, this was all me. That's why that is the worst forest you've ever seen. But don't hate me, bro. So yeah, Spawn's back. This third layer. This is in theory gone to the third person, who has been able to put Spawn behind the foreground of Batman and the tree. And in front of the background of the forest and the sky. This is what I was talking about. And explosions because Batman. And I like this idea of you just take some stuff off Photoshop. You just collage some stuff in badly. Just tell some jokes. Whatever. Keep it spontaneous. Keep it fun. Keep it lighthearted. So Banner Saga. This is where I got the whole multiple layer thing from. They have a very simple system for everything because of their restrictive budget. They really make the most of their art assets. You've just got character conversations are simply the character art, like this, separate layers. The game also uses Text dumps a lot. It's a lot like a play your own adventure book. So while you have a very strong visual identity, it also leaves room for your imagination as you work your way through all these things that they also don't have to animate, which saves money, which is useful for me looking at this, thinking I could do this in some way in the future too. The game involves you taking a journey in a much bigger world that you don't interact with. This juxtaposes with Final Fantasy 15, where everything centers around you, and because the characters are so simple, it makes the world simple. Family Guy, I've been watching a lot of that this week. It's awesome. It's awesome for a lot of reasons, and there's a lot of ways the show is built that lets it tell jokes and stories and do cutaways and stuff that really allows it to make the most of anything. Chris is a character who isn't focal very often, but when he is, it can be truly spectacular. He's the wild card character. He can be insane, retarded, clever, emotionally involved. Beautiful stuff. Obviously, Stewie and Brian as a collective and individually could have a spin-off, and usually they do their spin-off things. They've had some movies. Visually entertaining, audibly entertaining, so much variety. It's just great to have characters like this that you can use on so many levels. Right, so what do I need to do? Same old, right? Yeah, because Skyrim wasn't on the list, but that's what tends to happen. So dissertation, got to do that. Main focus of the week. Have to catch up with blogging and research from the last project before the next one starts. More stuff from Mike Hill, Photoshop tutorials in general. Really need to get started on using Illustrator. That would help so much. But it's not easy learning an Adobe product from scratch. It's painful, in fact. My Smiley book from my last project needs to be finished, and then the Smiley show needs its place online. The Patreon needs to start, but it can't start until I've got stuff that's worth looking at. So, yeah, I'll see what I can do. But dissertation is really the main focus of this week, because there's no shortage of the amount of research and heavy lifting I need to do for that. So that brings us to the end of Pecha Kucha 14. I will see you next time.